Alrighty. Hello, flat earth researchers, debaters, and debunkers. Just thought I'd go live, see if there are any anti-flat earthers out there, globe defenders, people with questions, truth seekers. Hi, Dan Tibbetts. Mr. Fox, hey dude. All right. Yeah, so flat earth vegans, divine plane. Oh, all right, good. Hi, Ryan. Wow, we're all pouring in there. Buckle up, divine plane. Ute. I play devil's advocate, but I don't have any arguments. Okay. Great. Yeah, great. Oh God, I've just opened up Google Chrome. I've got all these notifications coming in, which is a pain. Stop it. Hello, plain and simple. Just a moment. I'm just trying to get rid of these notifications. BM Furball. Hi, Nick. Yeah. Oh, dear. How long is that going to continue on for? Oh, dear. How do I close these? All right. Sleeping Warrior. Hi. Have you found where George Musa is? Oh my goodness, I'm getting all these notifications which are going to really be a pain. Sorry, just bear with me, guys. Bear with me. I have no idea how to turn those notifications off at the moment. Stop it. Yeah, so I haven't watched your video, I'm afraid, Anthony. I kind of saw it, but I didn't go and have a look. So, to be honest, I don't know who George Musa is. So I have no idea where he is. Hi, Nathan Oakley. Good to see you. All right. Yeah, I'm happy to field a few questions from anyone who thinks flat earthers are stupid or anyone who wants to defend the globe. Because I just keep getting these ridiculous comments on my videos, which same old rhetoric, same old thing. Just now this guy came in and I said, give me some measurable proof or demonstrate. And then he starts going on about planets and all that. And I mean, this is just repeating stories that we've all been told. So yeah, I mean, it's amazing. You people, it seems that these believers in the globe can't even tell the difference between. I don't even know what science is. This is it. You ask globers for science, and they can't provide it, but yet they claim they're defending science. Really. Anthony's asking, Nick, as far as you're aware, what's the current science for gravity? Newton. Whatever these guys, even if they ever existed, had to or have to say, it's just maths. It's just mathematical explanations. So it means nothing. To be honest, it's a distraction as far as I'm concerned. And just because it's simply all they did was make this association between dropping something in the air and then they had to say that everything in the sky is falling and we're falling with it. It's just part of the storytelling to go with the heliocentric model. So it's funny because it's about as, although it might seem intelligent, it's about the dumbest kind of connection anyone can ever make to trying to describe where we are. Yeah, flat earth vegans, it seems when you drop your ego, you can understand the earth is flat. I think so, yeah. I'm sure most of us have all got to this through a process of many other things in life, experiences, putting ourselves into situations and reflection that brings us to this point or realization that we're surrounded by lies. So yeah, kind of flat earth is, as far as I'm concerned, is, although it's a wonderful thing to realize at some point, there's a lot more that to go beyond that. Divine Plane, have you noticed if your moon is setting about 30 degrees more toward the northern Moon Calc says it should. My moon is now off by 30 degrees in the Canary Islands. I haven't been making comparisons, but I have been talking to people who have mentioned there seems to be a difference in what we're told and the observations we can make. But nothing I've been studying, to be honest, at the moment. Of course, I love watching the moon come up every day, but I'm not keeping records of that. Celtics, Mr. Fox, the black hole image is hilarious. Yeah, black holes. It's all about black, dark energy and stuff, isn't it? It's funny. Dark matter. 99.9% of the universe unexplained, and they call it matter. So it's not a vacuum, is it? Gravity and Newton. He didn't know about electromagnetism. This is Ryan Q. Vincent. Gravity and Newton. He didn't know about electromagnetism, so I had to go with mass. Obviously, the mass attracts mass, has no. But yeah. It's mental, isn't it, to ignore the electric soup that we're in, the vibrations and all that, and go for the one thing that is totally unscientific: mass attracting mass. Which doesn't happen. In fact, someone pointed out something to me the other day. I mean, you could imagine if you put something on a scale, and then you put that under something massive, then that massive object should then reduce the weight that's on a scale. So that would be the equivalent to a Cavendish experiment, right? So get I don't know, you could get a small ball bearing like this, put it on some scales, digital scales or whatever, and then stick it under a car or some massive building. Go under a massive building that's got tons of mass and girders underneath you, and see if it changes weight. That would be a proof that mass attracts mass, but I'm sure it wouldn't happen, would it? Would not happen. Poopy Pants 69. Hi, Andres. Okay, I'm just looking to see if there are any Globers here. It'd be great to bring on your arguments. I'm sure the people in chat would also be happy to help set some of you right. I haven't managed to do screen share on this at the moment. I'm actually in the process of doing a video to demonstrate how Wolfie 6020 or 2060 or whatever, maybe whatever his name is, pulled off his ridiculous observation. It's just taking quite a while. It's interesting though to do the research into heads-up displays and things like that. But it's a very simple trick that he pulled off. And Galaxy Dust, what do you think it is Bob doesn't want released? Okay, Bob who and what are you talking about? I'm not sure. Honestly, don't know. Cracking the Globe. Oh, BM Furball. Globehead here. Okay, BM Furball, bring it on. Ask a question if you like. Sorry, I've got to scroll it back up to the Cracking the Globe. How can they just say the moon is in our atmosphere now? How are people not fighting against these? Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It's interesting, someone I know, a relative who basically cut off all communication with me once we got into a few arguments about flat Earth, and he's a very conservative person and doesn't believe in any conspiracies at all, kind of accepts that he's got to take it up the arse, whatever the government say to him. But the one conspiracy theory, if you want to use that word, that he will believe in is the whole Diana murder thing. So it's weird, isn't it? This is something that's been widely accepted through mainstream media. What was the name of the documentary that they did about Diana's death, Lady Diana's death? But this is something people have accepted as pretty much a murder by people who didn't want Diana around anymore. They accept that, they deal with it. But they can't accept things like the fact that there is no science to back up the belief in a globe. Elon Musk. I wonder if that's the real Elon Musk. It's beautiful, right, Mark? Okay, whatever. Yeah, come on, ball bags. Ask Nick. Ask anyone. It's just a chance. Right, BM Football. How about we have a civilized conversation? Well, just everyone. I'm sure everyone's prepared to be civilized, but what pisses people off is the moment people start using rhetoric and explanations that they believe are some kind of evidence or proof, especially when they're all based on observations, which can be interpreted in any way. So if you're going to bring on some kind of argument, then everyone can be civil about it, but it's quickly descends into name calling and stuff when people don't realize that they're just repeating bullshit. Galaxy Dust. Bob Nodal of Globebusters, he has something where he says on a live mic, oh yeah, well, whatever. I mean, it's yeah, you're talking about what was revealed in the documentary, but yeah, I mean, maybe there was whatever he was talking about the gyroscopes, and this has been discussed ad nauseum. Really, the gyroscopes, pendulums, and all that stuff. They just do what they do. They're not necessarily measuring anything. A pendulum will do a circle. A gyroscope will do its thing. Yeah. So, but of course, maybe Bob understood that this is just the kind of arguments that you're going to get presented with by people that are going to try and argue with you and consider it as some kind of proof. To be honest, I don't have much to do with Globebusters. The thing is, at the end of the day, you've got to, if you're going to do something like that, get involved with these people that are doing mainstream media productions. You've got to understand that there are predators out there. And of course, we can all see that for the most part, a lot of people will do their best to find some kind of thing that will, they want to poke holes. So they'll come up with anything, and anything can be used as a weapon against someone else. Wobbly Boost, Phuket, it's flat. It certainly is. Nathan Oakley, the gyro and pendulum need two reference frames, Coriolis effect to prove Earth spins. If it spins under yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so simple. Yeah, this is the thing we all, I'm sure most people who understand that we don't live on a globe have gone through. You say, okay, you look at all the explanations they give you. There's this one, there's this one, there's this one, and this one, and then you see if they all match up. And of course, something like the Foucault's pendulum doesn't match up with the arguments. You say, well, okay, if you're saying that the Earth is spinning underneath the Foucault's pendulum, then we should be able to take off from the Earth and go around it and reach destinations in a very quick time going one way, or it would take forever the other way. And of course, no, the atmosphere is sticking to the Earth and blah, blah, blah. And it just becomes silly. Just becomes absolutely silly. So, anyone with any discernment quickly realizes that these so-called globe Earth proofs just don't stand up to any kind of scrutiny. Galaxy's asked, why would he keep confidential? I don't know, mate. Why are you asking me? Go and ask Bot. It's nothing to do with me, mate. And again, this is something we see all the time. Flat earthers being tarred with the same brush. How many different people believe that they live on a globe, and how many different ideas? People just, it's, so don't ask me. No idea. And I don't, confidential information, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, again, Nathan, if they say the Earth and the atmosphere spin together, there is no Coriolis effect. One reference frame. Right, yeah. That's a cameraman. Come on. Instead of arguing with people in the chat, bring it on. Ask me a question. That's what this is about. Bring it on, mate. Daniel Field. Something about Bitcoin. Yeah, I'm getting artifacts on the screen as well. I'm not sure why that is. I'm not sure if it's my camera or what it is. Sorry, just have to kind of put up with it, you know. It's amazing what we can expect from technology these days, huh? Galaxy Dust, I want your opinion. I think that... I'll tell you what, Galaxy Dust, I don't have an opinion. My opinion is that there's all sorts going on. People are people, and there are predators, and sometimes people are naive about who they associate with and their expectations, and these things can be twisted in all manner of ways. That's it. That's my opinion, okay? Green. I was talking to two friends the other day about we don't live on a globe, and straight away they said, well, where are the ice walls then? Yeah, they have a preloaded idea. Yeah, absolutely. See it all the time. In fact, I saw a video yesterday where the guy had actually gone and bought books and things, holds them up. He hasn't even leafed through. They're obviously brand new, but they're flat earth books. And he hasn't even been through them. But then he says, oh, these are word salad. And then he goes on about, he goes on about the ice wall. He goes on about the dome, and he goes on about the earth accelerating upwards. And it's like, you make a video dissing flat earth, but you haven't even done any research to beyond what the flat earth society is proclaiming. Daz the cameraman, sleep. Daz, ask me a question. That's what this is for. Yeah, come on, bring it on. Yeah, why is the smoke not pushed down by gravity? Yeah, something that's one of those things that you think about, isn't it? When you first start thinking about gravity, heat, things like that. And of course, the argument is that the less mass something has, the less it's affected by gravity. So, of course, it's just weight. That's all it is. So the less mass something has, the less heavy it is. Yeah. Dinky Dee Dory, how about these seeds? Oh, for fuck's sake. He's asked me why seeds find their way up and the roots go down. And apparently this is to do with gravity. But again, this is nothing to do with, because it's intelligent design. This is nothing to do with the earth, the shape of the earth. There's an up and down. No one's denying that. So I don't know why you keep going on about that. Elon Musk, what would be good enough proof for you? Have you got an idea? What's your idea of proof? Tell me. You tell me. But the proof that the globe is a lie is everywhere, and the proof that we live on a level stationary plane is everywhere. Real physics. Yeah, I didn't. It took me a while to get into it, when I was looking at all these space videos and NASA and stuff. And then, you can show these obvious trickery to people. And those who want to carry on believing in the globe will come, they blank out. They completely ignore it. They just won't. But anyone with an open mind will look at that and see wires being pulled. I mean, there's a movie I watched on Netflix called Life, and it's all about an organism that they grabbed from Mars, and then they get it onto the ISS. They managed to grab it onto the ISS, and the whole entire movie is people in a weightless environment. The whole movie takes place on the ISS. And they do a much better job than the crap we're showing with these people bouncing up and down. It is absolutely insane. BM Furball, Nick, I'm trying to rebuild my own Cavendish experiment. Mate, think of other ways. Were you listening just now? If gravity is a thing, that if mass attracts mass, take a small object, get some digital scales, put them on the scales, and then go and find something massive. that you can go under a big tower block that's 60 floors high, or stand next to a mountain and see if there's any difference in the weight. That will tell you whether mass attracts mass. Yeah, simple shit. People have got to think. This is it. You got to think beyond the stories and explanations we are given. And again, the Cavendish experiment, the Cavendish thing, is really just again, pendulums do circles. You could set up a Foucault's pendulum here, and it's not going to swing in one direction. Pendulums do circles. Energy, when you try and stop something from going down, there's a vortex going on. That's what happens. So a pendulum doesn't behave any different anywhere on the earth. It all depends on how you push it. And so it's the same with the Cavendish thing. It's just balls that are trying to go down. They're being prevented from going down, so they move. That's it. Oops, sorry, I'm just scrolling through the chat here. Ishama, comparing an 800-meter mountain to the well, again, that's just Ishama Yakazuai, or however you say your name, comparing an 8,000-meter mountain to the 6,000. First of all, you've got to prove there's a whole bunch of things you've got to prove with these assumptions. Mass doesn't attract mass, for a start. You can't measure the density of the Earth anyway. You can't prove that density of the Earth causes any effect. It's all just made up stuff. Galaxy dust. Who do you think are in on the conspiracy? I know. Oh dear. What's the conspiracy, really? What's the conspiracy? The conspiracy is just, a bunch of mathematicians who use geometry to try and define our place in space and tell us where the Earth is, Getting publicity is something I've done as a job for a long time. It doesn't take that much to get connected with mainstream. There are people out there hungry for stories and documentaries all the time. So if someone, and if someone was thinking of doing it, you look at BuzzFeed, for example, BuzzFeed News. There are entire newsrooms in each country that are dedicated to searching the web for stories, and then they call up the main people involved in these stories, and they go and get interviews, and they do documentaries, and they do news on them. Happens all the time. What it could be feminism, it could be drug issues, it could be police brutality, it could be gender, or whatever. It's just that these things become news, they become popular. Flat Earth is just one of those things. And there was always going to be, as this whole thing grows, then of course it's going to be become something that's highlighted in the mainstream. And of course, the first thing they will do is laugh and ridicule at it. Look at what happened to David Icke, for example, when he first came out. Yeah, he was just a national laughing stock, and it took him years of dedicated work to end up filling Wembley Stadium. It's just part of the process. First they ignore you, then they ridicule you, then they fight you, then you win. This is just the way it goes. So it's going to happen. It's just part of the process. It's not something to get stuck on. If you're going to get stuck on these little things here, it's just, no, go beyond that. Go beyond. We've been led to believe that we're in a place that we're not, and you can't swap one belief for another. So, Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody's got a clue where we are. Nobody knows. As someone said earlier, it's the vegan. Sorry, I can't remember your full thing, but as you said, it's just letting go of the ego. Right then. Galaxy Dust. Netflix is run by. Yeah. Does the cameraman come in with any arguments yet? Spurksimo, thank you very much. Darren, knowing science of flat Earth after years of looking into it, I have noticed many channels saying the same things over and over. What do you think of channels that do it just for profit off FE? Real investigation takes time. Time is money. People make money from all sorts of things. And usually we've got to pay for things. And, when you make a product and people are often prepared to pay for it. And if someone has advertising on their channel, it doesn't cost the viewer anything. For the most part, if we watch TV, we get interrupted with advertisements every 15 minutes. So, yeah, time is money. Daz the cameraman. Nothing from Daz the cameraman yet, I don't see. Daz, cameraman, if you're going to argue, just put in @Phuket word and send me a question. But it seems like you just want to argue with Anthony there. Yeah. So what's that? Every 12 every 12 minutes of ads. Yeah, it's mental, isn't it? They and of course programs, documentaries that were shown on TV are worked around the advertising, and that's what happens in any form of media. I worked for newspapers, and radio for a long time, and of course, buying a newspaper, you don't make money on the sales of a newspaper. For example, a newspaper might cost, it might cost £1 to print each newspaper, but they sell it for 50 pence. They're not making money off the sales of the newspaper. They make the money from the advertisers. And of course, in order to attract the advertisers, you have to demonstrate that you have good distribution, that people are going to see the ads. And of course, the content in the newspaper has to be worked around the ads. So, okay, and of course, the salespeople will talk to the people they want to make ads for. They say, okay, Mr. Hotelier, we're going to do an ad about, luxury dining. And so how about, you put your ad here, and it's all done like that. That's what editors do. They match up advertising with the content. It's just the way things are. Poopy pants. Drop a marble in a glass of water, Globies. Why would water behave differently because there's a giant ball? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's right. It doesn't, it's funny, isn't it? Because people argue physics, which no one's denying the real physics. Why are there two celestial poles? Are there two celestial poles? Have you been to the North Pole and looked directly up at the North Star? Have you been to the South Pole and looked directly up at the South Star? When you can say that you know that is true, then you can ask the question, why are there two celestial poles? And if there are, so what? What's it got to do with the shape of the Earth? Maybe there are two things spinning up above us. Just a moment, I got to deal with something.
This is a quick one.
Yeah.
It's okay to look off to me when I'm drinking.
Yeah. Going to do what? Drink water?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've got to be on. I'm on here. It's live. Yeah. Okay. But you want to get water? You can go ahead and get water. Yeah. All right. You got it. He's all right. He'll be all right. Yeah. Right. Sorry about that. That's the camera. Instead of talking about other people's so-called proofs, what about your own? Where's your proof, you numbskull? Sleeping Warrior. When you did the egg salt water manipulation, if the mass increased below the egg, what? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You change the density of the water. Ishama. Well, two celestial poles are impossible on. Oh, two celestial poles are impossible. Who made up the laws of the universe? Did you? Did I? Did Newton? Did Einstein? No. The universe is doing its thing. And we haven't got a clue what it's doing. So to come up with this it's impossible on your flat Earth model is a load of crap, a load of codswallop. What a stupid, ridiculous argument. We make and the whole globe model is based off observations that have been interpreted to have us believe that we're on. And then they had to, they come up with this whole globe Earth idea just because they wanted us spinning around the sun. And then they had to rack their brains to come up with those. How do we stick to a globe? Because they knew it was physically impossible. Oh, we'll change the formula for F equals ma, and we'll call it, and we'll put force into one thing, and we'll say that pushing a force is the same as something dropping, and then it's so simple. It's Forget words. Sheesh. All right, don't yell now. Oh yeah, I'm pissed off with this. It's been 4 years of bullshit. Hang on, close the door. Really, same old arguments, and it's. I had a guy the other day come to me, and he says, I'm willing to see. Just answer my questions. So I answer the questions, usual stuff. Why can't you see Polaris beyond the equator and stuff like that? You give them answers, and then they come back with just this tirade of the same old crap. It just it's like, well, yeah, you ask questions, but you're not prepared to listen to the answers, or you expect or you demand that. There are alternative answers. This is the point you've got to arrive at, is you've got to realize that there are no alternative answers. We've just been given explanations, numbers, 93 million miles away and all this stuff. We've been given these numbers and factoids. And of course, people want to have something to replace that. The whole thing is that we don't have, you don't have to have a replacement. You didn't, exactly, Ishiyama. We don't have answers. That's the point. Just said, nobody knows. And when you can accept that nobody knows, although it's a very frightening thing, then we can make progress. Mr. Fox, I can't understand why people are so trusting of governments. The very word government, yeah, mind control. Absolutely, yeah. Obviously there are many good people in government. Many good things have been done. The systems that are in place, they are designed to make progress, etc. It's a natural result of a lot of people having to, work things out. But of course, when you have this big machine and there are people that can influence this big machine, and that even though that machine is supposed to be for this kind of democratic process in which everyone's involved, if they're not involved or they're diverted or distracted, then of course, what's that phrase? Evil, good men do nothing and evil takes over. So yeah, a system is always going to develop. A way of doing things, a way of thinking, a culture is always going to develop when you have a lot of people together. I mean, it kind of, but personally, I'm trying to celebrate individualism, and we can. Okay, Ishyama. He says we have answers. You just ignore them. If you have a working model, present it. What is your working model? You don't. All you have is a measurement of time. Yes, I know there are answers, and as I explained right at the start, we have all these compartmentalized answers. For example, the Foucault's pendulum, and then, other things, Coriolis, etc. When you try to put all these explanations together in the big picture that's supposed to be the globe, they don't work. You do not have a working model for the globe. We do not stick to the outside of a sphere. All we have is observations of the sky, telling the time. That is all We have. It is not a working model because there is no curve and there is no water not flowing down these alleged curves. Yeah? You don't have a working model. You have explanations. Yes, you have answers, which are explanations, but they are not backed by any kind of physics or any kind of proof. Yeah? So don't ignore them. No, nobody has ignored the answers. We've investigated the answers. And this is why you get to the realization that we're not on a spinning ball. Because you don't just take the answers at face value. You actually investigate and you become scientific about the so-called science that we've been given. And then you get it. Ishama, you don't understand science. No, I understand science. Give me the science. Give it to us. We've been trying to get hold of the science to prove that we live on a spinning ball. There isn't any. No measurable proof. Do you understand the difference? Demonstrable, measurable proof. Bring it to us. Lev Kung Fu, Shaolin. Hi. Vergis, what use do rulers have to lie to us about the shape of the earth? Think about it. Motives. Think about it yourself. Work it out for yourself. Beyond belief, I can see the sky, so it's science. That water curves, yeah, but I can't prove it because we don't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Elon Musk, can you point me to an observation that indicates a flat plane? Look around you. JK, why should scientists do what the church did when they technically destroy every religion? Well, the belief in a globe is a religion. Yeah, heliocentrism is a religion. Yeah. Atheism is a religion. Alrave Enley, you can go east-west in a circle around north, but not north-south. The land keeps expanding outwards. Okay. Flat enough, Elon Musk, you are a poor sophist. Do your homework. Try. Yeah. Just Jack Flat Earth, Jake. Okay. Churchianity works fine with scientism. Church today has nothing to do with scriptural adherence. Good point. Musicians for truth. You don't even need science to understand. We've been lied to on many. Absolutely. Yeah. That's it. You need life experience. You need common sense. You need discernment. You need a desire to seek the truth. Absolutely, musicians for truth. And it's funny, isn't it? Musicians, artists, etc. They get it so more easily because they've got this kind of the EQ as well as the IQ. You know, music is reading another language, and then you realize that there's a language here and there's a language there, and they have meanings, but but there are people that can play music without reading music or being able to write music. Oh God, BM Furball, do you mean the observations of ships disappearing from the bottom up? BM Furball, get outside, go and watch for 6 months ships going off into the distance, and you see if you can record exactly the same thing happening every single time. Simple. There's videos of ships that don't go disappearing from the bottom up. They just disappear because they fade into obscurity. There's a limit to the distance we can see. And it's really, 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 really simple. Yeah. You look across a bumpy, rugged surface, and the waves in front of you, even though they're small, will block off something that has a much smaller angular size in the distance. Yeah. Even a mountain the size of Everest eventually becomes a tiny speck on the horizon and can be blocked off by a 6-inch wave in front of you. It's simple shit. Dinky Dory. Anyway, Phuket, we're glad to see you're okay. Was getting worried as you had not posted a video for a bit. Going to chill with Netflix. Take care. All right, Diggy Dory. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm just busy feeding the family. Oh, Infinite. Yeah. Thanks very much for the comments on the shirt. Try to keep it nice and bright. Yeah. Okay. So there obviously seems to be there's comments about a black hole. I haven't seen these latest pictures of a black hole. So maybe that's something to look at. Okay, so Marty Johnson, thoughts on the black hole as further proof of Einstein's general theory? I don't know. I honestly haven't seen a picture of a black hole recently. How can you take a picture of a black hole? Anyway. Mark Harris, how does HVAC work on the ISS? Don't know what HVAC is. Enlighten me. But there aren't people on the ISS. There's something going on up there. Sure, there's something going around and around. There aren't people on it. It's bloody obvious. JK, I think the Earth is a flying teddy bear. Chat's going rather fast now. West Coast Rhythm. And hi. Tracy Storia. Hi. Jose Q. Soccer balls and basketballs have a hard time moving without curves. John Loper. Yeah, stream is glitchy as heck. Is it a guy? I have no idea. Might be just, I don't know. I'm not sure why. Sorry. Archie Vincent. Ryan Q. Vincent. BM Furball, the shape of your eyeball. Yeah, exactly. It's the eyes. Yeah. And it's funny, isn't it? You can't make an observation without using your eyes. It's as simple as that. Divine Plane, any thoughts on Antonio's map? Well, as far as I understand, it was done with a lot of research and a lot of collaboration, and it has to do, I think, with the sun tracking. So it seems to make a lot of sense. And this is science in action. This is what we should all be doing, collaborating to work these things out. Beyond belief, how does a false dichotomy bend water? Captain Will, you have great videos on perspective, and I was able to conduct proper experiments because of them. Oh, well, thank you very much, Captain Will. That's really just the idea. It's just, my experiments are nothing fancy, really, but it's hopefully it's just the idea is to inspire others to go out and look. For example, like BM Furball claiming that boats will disappear from the bottom up. Just go and look. And I didn't look until it was pointed out. But to me, when I heard that the horizon always rises to eye level, it's like that was the moment of clarification for me. Yeah, that was like, yeah, it's just something you intrinsically know. And then I went out to test it, and lo and behold, yeah. It's true, and things get cut off by, you're on a bumpy road, just going down and looking across a bumpy road, and a small bump in front of you will cut off cars and people in the distance. Just it's like, well, yeah, okay, makes sense. Effed Up World, Phuket Word, I have enjoyed your point of view and your simple way of explaining things. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. BM Furball, why not at the top? I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Yosei Q, fellow sphere earthers, we must awaken our flat earthers from this too. You see, okay, Yosei, I'm not sure if you're taking the piss or if you're an actual globe defender, but yeah, this seems to be the mission. You seem to have this idea that we need to be saved, whereas what people like myself are actually trying to do is to say, look and scrutinize and use your discernment, and you will realize for yourself. We say do your research, and that means researching everything from radars to all these other ideas, and just ask where the proof is. For example, that down becomes towards the center of a sphere, or that, and things like that. It's just just simple stuff, really. It really is. It is, it's not complicated, although it's a long process that you've got to go through, but it isn't complicated at the end of the day. Just Jack Flat, love your short, easy, explicit. Thank you very much. No reason we can politely discuss it over a pint. Yeah, absolutely. But you should have a look at all the name calling that's gone on. And to be honest, you don't need to discuss it too much. You just need to go out there and look for yourself, and then you'll realize. Airplanes are 100% affected by Coriolis. The force applied is insignificant. Oh, come on. Marty Johnson. He says airplanes are 100% affected by Coriolis. No, they're not. Because if you knew that the Earth was spinning, then you wouldn't set off in the direction. Your heading wouldn't be towards your destination. Your heading would be somewhere else because the Earth is allegedly spinning. Doesn't happen. Yeah. At least you okay. Perpetuate word. Did you see the YouTube? Oh, lost. Someone asked about Caponac. Did you see the YouTube channel Rory? This dude is so annoying. Yeah. I think he's a agent in place. No, he's just being paid to do what he does. He is annoying. Yeah. And you'll see the same modus operandi for all these globers, that actually gained recognition by attacking flat earthers. Yeah. So the first thing all these globe earth channels did to make themselves well known was to pick on a bunch of flat earth channels. But of course they're going to get the support because you still have the majority of these mind control masses believing in a ball and looking for people to help them defend that rather than actually do their own scientific investigation. So it doesn't, subs and view counts don't matter to me, because what matters to me is that one or two people will be inspired to go and seek their own truth. Yeah. Just let you know, I'm going to try and keep this to an hour, so it's 47 minutes already. So this is great, really, just to have so much going on. I would love, we've had a few questions. The whole idea with this was to have some questions from the Globe Earth Defenders. Daz, the cameraman, has not come up with the goods, so he'll probably continue to make silly arguments without actually coming to the forefront of defending his belief. I'm just seeing if, okay, Matty Johnson, you'll find the Coriolis forces. Well, again, Matty Johnson, Marty Johnson, you'll find the Coriolis forces insignificant. It's the same old argument, isn't it? Think about it. Nothing at all is done on this Earth or above this Earth that indicates that it's moving or spherical in any way whatsoever. In fact, in Wolfie's video about the moon being below the eye level, below eye level. What he had to do there was twist the meaning of words. He had to talk about, straight and level flight. Straight and level flight is not the pitch of an aircraft. Straight and level flight means following a flight path. And flight paths are always lateral. They're always from the departure point to the destination point on a lateral plane. Yeah. But all he did was he had his nose pitched up, the aircraft's nose pitched up, so the heads-up display is pitched up, the infrared camera was pitched up because that's on the nose of the aircraft, and the horizon line, which he referred to as eye level on the heads-up display, is not a representation of what we see. It is a representation of where the aircraft is heading in relation to its flight path. And flight path is always straight and level. It's just a simple manipulation of the words, level, eye level, etc., and relying on ignorance and intellectual laziness. So, it's just obvious. These people have to tell lies in order to defend their belief. That's what you find out when you start looking into this. Okay, Shane Walker, have you seen Antonio's map? And I think I've just Yes, I've seen it. I think it's I haven't studied it extensively, but as I said, it's a result of a lot of collaboration and research. So it might well be the best thing we have so far. Burgess S. But I asked you a question and you told me I have to answer it for myself. Why you make a Q&A? What is the use of rulers to lie to us about the shape of the earth? Because you're talking about motive. So what's the motive? What's the motive for anyone who, for example, someone who abuses their partner and wants to keep them in place? Yeah. What is the motive there? What is the motive to have us paying taxes and believe that, there are a gazillion reasons for lying or even making the assumption? Yeah, it's not like, the governments are not necessarily lying. They're just accepting what's being told to them by the institutionalized the institutions, which are full of people with their own egos and things like that. In fact, Gav from Beyond the Imaginary Curve, what's his channel? Vortex Puppy. Go and have a look at his latest video about, and it talks about, a blind mathematician. The geometry of a sphere means nothing to a blind mathematician. It's brilliant. So I can't give you an answer like that for a motive, because there are so many. It's like asking, why did someone murder someone else? There are a gazillion reasons. That can, ways, but it's the problem here is our acceptance en masse of assumptions and theories, because we talk about the globe Earth hiding God or whatever, intelligent design, because the whole thing is Big Bang, balls forming, all an accident and stuff. So of course we're all desperate for answers. We all want to have answers. We all want to know how we're here, why we're here. It's the burning question we all have. And of course it's wonderful if someone can appear to give us the answer. And of course, so someone who wants to exact some kind of control over us can give us those answers, and if we accept them, then it's a kind of comfort zone for us, and we go along with it. So, but again, to give an alternative answer is not the thing here. That the idea is to realize that we haven't been given any solid scientific answers in the first place. And then we are free, because there's so much more to discover. There's so much more to find out. Exploration of the physical place we live in, and the mind, the soul, and how it all works. Science doesn't have answers to what happens when we go to sleep and things like that. There's so much more to discover that we could do if we weren't tied to this ball Earth belief. Things could be very, very different. And this is what we all know. This is what all the people who realize that the globe is a lie, we feel it. We realize that, wow, if this catches on, that the whole world will change. It does, because your whole world changes. It changes for us, and it can only happen one person at a time. It's an internal thing. Yeah? Beyond belief. Nick, will you accept my fallacies of relevance as proof of a globe? Yeah, why not? Okay, yeah. BM Verbal. I would love to have a personal offline conversation with you, man to man, and just talk. BM Verbal, I've tried it many times, and it just goes round and round in circles. You have to be willing to go through the same thing that we've all gone through. It's tough. It's not easy. We can't hold your hand. You have to accept, for example, that observations can be interpreted in many ways. Once you realize that simple thing, then it opens it all up. You have to at least get to that point. There's no point coming along and saying that Polaris appears to get towards the horizon because we're on a ball. Absolutely no point in trying to use that as some kind of argument. Forget it. You have to go beyond that. So I'm more interested in discussing, the what's beyond this realization that we're not on a spinning ball. And again, flat Earth is not a model that I don't support any kind of model. Never done that. Gleam, question. The globe Earth scientists have proved the globe wrong by needing 95.5% of the model to be dark matter and dark energy. Why do you think GE cannot admit their model is wrong? Yeah, in institutionalized stuff. I think, for example, if you have a look at the astronomical unit that they've been trying to ascertain, and it's taken like 20 years for them to actually arrive at a figure for this imaginary model. And it's all to do with the people in the institutions, the egos, the attachments, and it's just like, yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, the admission that 99.5% of the universe is dark matter is basically an admission that it's not a vacuum out there, but they don't make that connection. So it's really up to us, isn't it? It's up to us. I watched if you go and watch Einstein's Biggest Blunder, it's a documentary about these physicists who have been, they basically, their careers, their life, they're getting paid to come up with mathematical equations and models for the beginning of the universe, the Big Bang. I think that's one of our mistakes, is trying to work it all out. Is there a start and a finish point? Because that is this material world idea, but we can't handle the idea of infinite infiniteness. Yeah, it kind of like, it's just beyond us because we're in this physical body. So but this mathematician, he went through years of trying to develop a formula, and it ended up having to create this imaginary scenario, mathematical model for the physics of just after the Big Bang. But then he had to have this self-realization that he just made shit up. Yeah, so these people individually, they realize these things, but this doesn't become public knowledge until it's in something like a documentary, and then people have to watch it and make their own thoughts about it. So, again, there isn't necessarily this massive cover-up. It's, people realize as individuals that they haven't got a clue. But this doesn't become mainstream news all of a sudden just because a physicist realizes that he can't work out how the beginning of the universe began, or that he has to admit that he had to make things up. This is just a personal process that everyone has to go through. It's never going to be announced. Don't wait for some announcement that the Earth is flat. We're all on a journey. Captain, beyond belief. Nick, will you accept this text here describing mathematical concepts of proof of a globe? There's a plethora of evidence of people conceptualizing it. Yeah, it's all concepts. Yeah, Galaxy's asked, don't be. I've got a whole my piss off. Yeah, I've got my wife and my eldest daughter dealing with my kids out there. I plan my time. My kid cries all the time. It's just one of those things. Go vegan Earth, a plane. Pick a word. Check out Professor Dave's FE debunking video. He fails to mention that there's no measurable curvature. Water cannot bend. Yeah, I know. Mental, isn't it? They'll go off on all these, but they just will not come down to the basics. Okay, pick a word is handsome. Right. No, I'm not handsome. I've got missing teeth and all sorts. Yeah. Oh, by the way, people make fun of my teeth. They got knocked out and died when I was a kid. One was a skiing accident, one was a swimming accident. Yeah. So eventually they just ended up falling out, and I haven't taken them taken care of. But I'm not concerned about looks. I'm more concerned about reality. So I'm not fussed. People want to take the piss out of my teeth, then fine. But I got a family to feed, and when they're taken care of, then I'll take care of my teeth. You see, Galaxy Dust, all you've got is you haven't got what you bring in science, or just attacks on personality here. Vozan, thank you. They named me Bobo. Flat Family, George Smith. Hi Nick, happy Songkran. Yes, it's going to be. There's going to be a nationwide water fight in the next couple of days, and this is a kind of Songkran shirt. That's what I love about this place. It's mental. Can you imagine? You walk out of your house and then someone's going to throw water on you or squirt you with a water gun. Nationwide water fight. It's mental. It's great fun. The globe. Oh, God. Look at this dude, Galaxy Dust. The globe has no science like how your kids say they have food. I feed my family. I've been doing it as a stranger in a strange land for 20 plus years, 25 years. More than half my life I've been in this country and managed to get by. So screw you. MB Football, Nick, please, seriously, I would really like to just chat. I don't understand your position and how your videos don't say enough for how you think. Yeah, BM Furball, it's very difficult to put into a video all the research that goes into having this realization. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you here that are watching this will understand that when you hear about flat Earth and you start doing your research, it's a very, very intense time. We go through all the science, we look at all the explanations, and we look at all the physics that's involved. It's a massive learning curve. You go back to all the things we were taught in school. I remember the teacher showing us introducing us to Newton weights. I'm like, what's all this about? And it's just like, things like that. You just have to, you go back and you really, it's a heavy amount of research. Flat Earth, Aussie Jesus. G'day, Nick. Not the greatest connection here. Yeah, okay. Keep up. Okay, thank you very much, man. Peachia. Okay, he's talking to someone else in the chat. Yeah, Vozan, don't waste your energy on the stupid trolls. Absolutely, yeah. It is time consuming. It does drain your energy, and ultimately, this is all it is. It's like it's up to us as individuals, isn't it, to work out the difference between what we can and cannot know. We believe an awful lot, but we know very little, but it's very difficult to accept that, isn't it? But I think I've said it before. We are the biggest deceivers of ourselves. And that's kind of part of the process as well, isn't it? I'm sure all of you are. This is kind of why we feel like this collective of people on the same page, because we know what we're all going through. We know what we've been through to get to this point where we realize the massive extent of the lies. Galaxy Dust, you're being irrelevant. Gadfly 13, surely a live broadcast of a plane squadron flying around the Earth along the meridian should be all that's needed. Why has this never happened? Yeah, good point. Yeah, I mean, this is it. The proof that if we live on a globe, it should be self-evident. And a little bit of research, again, will lead you to realize. Hyde K, are you ready for a global collapse of the financial market? Yeah. Because, I mean, I'm living in a place where we can go out and get food from the forest. But that's the thing, isn't it? So someone asked about the dependency or the lie. Why would they lie? Because they create this dependency, and this is what an abuser will do. An abuser will create dependency. And this is what happens to us all. We all become dependent on the system. And so we have to become independent. And then you're free. Elon Musk. Okay, I'm starving. Okay, cheers, mate. Thank you for the sub. Execrate 200. You got to do the work. You got to know to understand. Yep. YosayQ, Gadfly, they will say it's video edited. I don't know what you're talking about. They name me Bobo. Your glasses are cool. Oh, thank you. I actually just bought them today. 100 baht, which is about less than a pound. Oh, okay, Captain Will. Thanks very much again for the compliments. That's it's just nice. I mean, for me, that's my reward. Just if there's a way to demonstrate how I've arrived at this realization that the globe Earth has been derived from interpreting observations, and if we can be free. I mean, the fear. It was a very physical thing that happened. It was, it's a mental thing and a physical thing. There was this moment at which the prison walls just fell away. But that wasn't after a 20-year quest for the truth. And you don't, just realizing that we're not on a globe isn't the be all and end all of it all. That's just one part of it. There's a whole lot more to go beyond that. And we were on a constant voyage. I hope to continue learning until the day I die. Yeah. It's interesting to look into the electric universe thing. They're obviously looking into there's a lot of interesting things going on there. Of course, there's still this idea that we're living on a globe for them, but there's a lot of, again, you pick those elements, or you look at those elements which really make sense. So there's no need to discount certain things just because someone still believes that we live on a ball. There's a lot of very good science going on. I mean, there's massive amounts of really intelligent people, smart people who don't even think too much about the idea that we're on the heliocentric model, but they're discovering things and doing things in their own way. They're having a very fulfilling life. I mean, you look at, for example, there's people, I just watched a documentary the other day, people looking to go and surf in really cold places in Iceland in the middle of winter and stuff. It's like, they've got their mission, they've got their thing that they're going to do, they've got a very fulfilling life. It might not be something that most of us would want to do. It's like, and we can't, or people diving down to the deepest caves and things like that. A lot of us just wouldn't do that kind of thing. It's not something that interests us individually, but those people are doing things, they're on their own life journey, they're having experiences that mean something to them, and things are happening for them. They're getting out there and they're exploring their physical world and their inner world as well. And as long as all of us are doing that, then we get somewhere, we make progress. If being here on this earth, in this physical existence, is all about exploring while we are on this journey rather than trying to get to a particular destination, then as far as I'm concerned, that is this kind of mission accomplished, because we are, whatever things happen when you get out there and try and do something or explore, you might not know where it's going to lead you. I've had some wonderful experiences just by being lost, by getting on the bus and going in completely the wrong direction because I couldn't speak the language. I didn't have the guts to, or the language to actually ask the questions I needed to know. But you end up somewhere and something happens. Everything happens, it seems, for a reason. But we have to be able to look back at that and reflect on it. Yeah. Heidke, do the FE needs any force like gravity? Gravity is just weight. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's density. Look it up. Look up the definition of gravity. And it means different things in different industries. But, in beer making, they talk about gravity. Yeah, it's just, but you always have to have a foundation. And it's based off water. Water is the reference frame, the reference point, or the base reference for gravity of liquids. And then the air at a certain temperature is the base reference for gravity of gases. That's all it is, So gravity is just relative density. That's all it is. Again, to make this connection to what's happening in so-called space, and to assume that because you drop a spanner on the Earth, that the Earth is falling through space with all the other stars is just insane. It's insane. Marty Johnson, not trying to catch you out, but do you believe that density is given by mass divided by volume? Mass is a fixed volume, right? Yeah. Whatever. This lighter has it's fixed mass, and it's in a medium of air. Yeah. And any force is internal. Yeah. That makes it fall. So no, the mathematics doesn't have to change. It doesn't, everything works fine. You can call it gravity. You can call, all the, the formulas and everything. They all work. Nothing wrong with them. It's just that the imagery that we have that goes with it, the belief. Again, you ask a simple question like, does the spherical mass of the Earth pull things towards it? And is everything being pointed down towards the center of the Earth? I've asked this question. No one can answer it. There's no proof because it's just an idea. But things with a fixed mass and density fall through a less dense medium. That's it. It doesn't mean anything towards the shape of the Earth. Nothing. Took me a long time to get to that point. Took me a lot of brain racking and investigation, but it's really simple shit. It's so simple. Gleam, gravity is just the removed account for the energy taking something out of equilibrium. The same amount of energy to lift is released when dropped. Well, yeah. Obviously, there's a bit of acceleration and but the thing is, you hold something up for a long time, then, you've got this whole thing about time, which kind of comes into it. DRLA02, damn, all the trolls asked me the same basic FE questions and expected to be answered and never once tried to answer it for themselves. It's called research. Absolutely, yeah. And then this is what prompted me to just start up this live stream, is because you get those same old questions, you try to answer them, and as far as they're concerned, an explanation for their model is good enough. That's considered proof. It's not. It's just, yeah. It's a shame. It's a shame. It drives me nuts, actually, just trying to get people to see that. Yeah, Gleam. It does not accelerate if you drop it from 10 millimeters. It's a rate of induction through the medium. And what's your point? Does dropping something prove the shape of the Earth? Does it prove what the Earth's made of? No. Doesn't prove anything about where we are. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's irrelevant. I like to discuss, how can one predict the position of the sun? Oh, God. Okay, it's a good question. This is a hangout to answer questions. So I like to discuss is asking, how can one predict the position of the sun on FE? I want to be able to compare it with reality. It is reality. Models, there are no models that have a precedence over predictions. What's happened is we've been able to make predictions from the Earth by making observations. You can watch the sun and the moon go overhead or wherever they go once a month, and you can see that the sun will come overhead, followed by the moon. And as the time goes by, you can start off with the new moon if you like. So the sun and the moon do that. The next day, the sun's a bit further apart. Yeah. And the next day, the moon is a bit further. Yeah. So, okay, this goes on for a month. Yeah. It's very, very simple. So just by making these observations from the Earth, we can make predictions from the records that have been kept for hundreds of years, thousands of years. The Muslims still do it. Yeah. When it comes to their fasting period, they still don't start the fasting, Ramadan. They call it Ramadan here. They don't start that until the moon is at a specific crescent phase. So each year they have their imams and all their people looking at the moon, and then when it's at its correct phase, they make the announcement that Ramadan has begun. Yeah, and it's not on a fixed date. It's based on a prediction of when the moon will. Yeah, so eclipses and all that stuff. There is no model that's exclusive to making these predictions. And the heliocentric model, because it doesn't suddenly make predictions that can't be made in the past. Yeah, you have to understand that the globe is built off observations. Yeah. Anyway, listen, it's been over an hour. I've got things to do. It's been great. Let's do this again, because obviously there are some there's some good discourse to be had here, and I really appreciate everyone coming in and having a chat. And I'd love to carry this on. Team Foyat, hi, good to see you, man. Sorry I didn't notice you before. So yeah, all right, good. Let's do this again. Thanks a lot for everyone for coming in. And again, really, I welcome the questions. I'm sorry if I get a bit irate, but you've got to be able to appreciate the answers that have been given and then take it away and think about it. All right. So thanks very much. And let's all catch up soon. All right. Cheers.